You can see there's some excitement. The Flames won a hockey game. It's 2 in a row. We're going streaking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like the fact that they stuck with their game plan. Like you guys were talking about the young players playing. Great. But, it would have been easy to pack it in at 2-1 going, you know what? It's not our night. We've got shot volume. Our top guys haven't found the back of the net. But instead you dug in, and I thought it showed tremendous balls by Ryan Huska there's some accountability. I think that sends a ripple effect through the dressing room going, this guy's not playing well. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, his last shift, he was out there for like two minutes or north of it, 240 or something. So it's just, it's enough. You got to lay the hammer down. And I think it's twofold. You challenge the player to be better, and you also send a message in the dressing room. It's like, doesn't matter if that guy makes 10.5. We're trying to win games tonight. And I think, if anything, that might have sent a ripple effect through the league, because there's other coaches that probably should be benching their top players or top paid players that aren't doing it. And Huska did it. And can you imagine, guys, I thought about this morning. Can you imagine if that was Daryl Sutter that did that? The uproar. That would lead Sports Center. Oh, my God, Daryl Sutter. And the tweets would come out from the agent, and all hell would break loose. Ryan Huska was trying to win a game, and he won a game last night. And I think it sent a two-prong attack. Literally, it's and I felt, listen, Jonathan Huberdeau is a human. He's a competitive guy. He's trying his best. It's not working right now. Doesn't mean he can't get it together. But in this particular instance, he hasn't had a great start to the season, and they're trying to win games. And it worked last night. And I think he goes back to the drawing board today, and he's got to get back to work. But I thought the move was ingenious and probably came a little bit too late. But there's other coaches throughout the league going, yeah, that's probably what I should be doing too.
Have you noticed that? Because Gaudreau got sat in oh my God, Columbus.
Yeah.
My question, what I was going to get to was, in basketball, you see it all the time. It's the stars. They'll take the night off, not even dress or play. Now, you don't want that because people pay to watch these guys, right? That they're part of your product and this. But hockey is one hell of a sport. And you got 82 freaking games that beat the piss out of you, and they are highly emotional. You have to have high energy. It's not easy to always get there. Is it such a knock that some of these top guys don't play? And I'm not saying not dress. And maybe it will get to that point. But where you actually manage that and go, you know what? He doesn't have it tonight. That's fine. It's not a criticism. It's not tonight's not your night. We got other guys going. Let's play them. Because everyone, like you said, if Daryl did it, it would be a frickin' and the Gaudreau thing comes out and people still talk about it. But it should, in my opinion, be almost more acceptable. Hockey players have always been hard on each other. It's been the tradition of, we're the hardest workers. We don't take shifts off. Right? It's kind of a badge of honor in our sport. But in reality, no other sport has to go through what hockey players have to go through.
I'll just jump in there, Noodles, because I know what you're talking about, load management, right? That's kind of the term that goes for that. Now, do you think that Huberdeau was sat because of load management, because of wear and tear and fatigue, or because of play? That'd be
poor play.
Two things, right?
I'm not speaking just specifically to Huberdeau. And I actually think, I said it 2 weeks ago, do the Rodman, send him to Vegas, because he's not right. Like, get away from it. Who cares? How many times over your career, Noodles, when it was acceptable where guys were having a bad run, they said, I'm going out and I'm going to get ripped up or pissed up with my buddies and kind of blow the top off a little bit. And it kind of, it resets you a little bit. I'm not saying you have to go get drunk or do this or that, but sometimes getting away from it is the best medicine.
Well, and the unfortunate part, and this is the world that we live in, it's instantaneous. It's happening live, and I'm getting emails at my work. It's trending on Twitter. It becomes a lot bigger of a story because of the information process. We don't read about it in the paper the next day or just see it on the highlights. It's right now, you're watching the kid, you're watching him get benched. But I agree with you. Like, this is not, the National Hockey League is not a development league. It's not, hey, a participation league. You tried hard and hey, the moral victory. You're trying to win games. And if any given night a guy doesn't have it, there are star goaltenders. Jacob Markstrom's been pulled. He's a star player. Why can a goalie get pulled, but a player can't get pulled? Yeah. Like, that's, to me, it's managing your bench. It's managing your game and going, this guy doesn't have it tonight. And there's a couple guys who do. I'm going to place them in situations. I got to run them back because I'm trying to win a game. So I agree with it. I see what you're saying, Rhett, because you can't play 82 gems. So say you have 60 good games and the other 22 are management. You got to manage this guy's minutes. You got to manage how they play within that game. Farther down, give him an opportunity. Maybe it's not a 5-on-5 shift, but it's like, this guy might have a pass on the power play that might be special. That might be difference making. So you place people in situations to have success on any given night. That's the way I would look at it.
And you got to have a brave coach to do it. And I think the brave coach has to set it from day one when he's there.
Right.
Like, when I get to coach, my speech to the guys at training camp is, you're not going to play every night, and you're not going to play 22 every night. And the games where you don't have it, it's not a punishment.
Yeah.
It's not a punishment. I might still need you. Be ready. You're still involved. I hated seeing. I'm not an advocate for Huberdeau, but like everybody, he's a human, and I do think that he wants to do better than he is. Watching him hang his head there was brutal. And again, this is a Huberdeau specific thing we're talking about, and I think it's different than maybe the generalities that I'm trying to talk in. But he shouldn't be hanging his head. He should be patting guys on the ass saying, go get him. Go get him. Because hanging your head is eliminating yourself from the team play, and you're still part of that team, whether you're on the ice or not. And
now Coleman did say, he said, if you watch when we were scoring goals and coming back in the third, he was up on his skates. Because I did want to ask you about the body language there, because whatever sports that they got a great clip, right? Like, that's a great visual. Jamie, you'd know that from the TV side. When you've got something like that, you hit repeat on that thing, right?
It's gold. It sucks because in the TV world, that's gold, because if you ever see these dome production trucks, you got a director and you got a producer, and they're going, cut the camera 5, let's go right to Huberdeau. Let's see what this is going on. Like, to me, it sucks for him. And I agree with you, Rhett. Like, you have, and you're in the public eye, there's a camera on you. So I don't fault the kid for wearing the emotion, but I also understand he has to understand all eyes are on you. You'll be sitting on the bench. All eyes are going to watch you in your body language. And it's unfortunate. I felt for him, but again, you come back to the silver lining. This worked last night. They won. I
ask you. I said, is that for him? That's almost got to be salt in the wound, isn't it? It's 2-1 at the end of the second period. Ryan Pike, one of our guys, his last shift was 2 minutes and 45 seconds at the end of the second period. He doesn't touch the ice in the third. They score 2 and an empty netter and win it. I mean, that'd be the thing that would kill you. I sat and it worked. They came back and won without me. I just wonder, that's the double whammy for him.
But this is a challenge to a top tier player, a guy who makes $10.5 million a year. This is a challenge to him going, all right, like, you didn't have it tonight. Let's see what you got tomorrow. Let's see what you have next game. Let's see what you got in Toronto against the mighty Leafs, because all eyes are going to be on you. And guess what? You're going to be marched out to the media that morning, because the vultures will be circling going, what did you make of you being benched? The next couple of days, unfortunately, will be noisy for him, because again, this is probably uncharted territory for him. He's a star player. It's probably always had kid gloves, and you know what? This is big boy hockey. And I don't want this to happen nightly to him. I think you have to have selective situations where it's like, if you don't have it tonight, the next maybe off night might be the coach come down and give him a pat on the back and go, I need more from you, buddy. I'm throwing you out there until you turn your game. Like, it's not just, hey, I'm going to nail you to the bench. Last night worked. The next opportunity that Ryan Huska have, and opportunity is the wrong word, the next situation that he has with Jonathan Huberdeau, it might be, hey, I didn't like that play. go out and make up for it. Like it's not just a benching. This happened to work, but there might be the next thing might be something like a little bit of a cattle prod. Like, dude, let's get going here.
And the other thing I think that's huge is I didn't hear Huska's comments after the game. I don't even know if they talked about it.
He did. Yeah.
But that's so maybe he already said it. But if I'm Huska, that's where I have to make a strong statement and say, yeah, he didn't play. And guess what? In Toronto, he's gonna, and I expect him to be good. And the times when guys don't play, nobody's bigger than the team. And there's going to be times when other guys don't play. Who else didn't play? Did Greer play 18 minutes in the third? No. Right? So it's a team. There's going to be guys that don't play all the time. That's how I operate. And he's going to get his chance. And when he gets it, he's going to damn well perform. You have to, at that point, make a huge statement in having that guy's back. Yeah,
I agree. There's a difference between last night, Huska put him on an island because he singled him out and said, you're the guy who's not good. But there has to be a way where Huska can bring him back in. That's the relationship. That's challenging him. Last night was the challenge. Let's see what the player has here. There's no more excuse. Like Ryan Huska wasn't the big bad coach. What he did was show everybody last night he's not the substitute teacher. He's not he's not the anti-Daryl. He's still trying to win. And I think it, like I say, I come back to it. I think it sent a ripple effect throughout the league going, you know what? Jay Woodcroft might have to take a page out of that book. There's other players. The other night you mentioned Goudreau gets benched. It happens. There are players that don't see the ice, that miss shifts. It's a bigger story because this is the first time. And again, this is the new coach. All the excuses are out the window. Daryl's gone, Tree's gone. There's no new moves other than the players being held accountable. And the one thing that a coach has in today's world is ice time, because it's not money. Everyone makes more money than the coach. It's not fame. It's not anything. It's the coach can control one thing: ice time. You want it, you got to come through me. And last night, Huska made a statement, if you ask me.
And the thing about it is, too, you go back a week ago in that St. Louis game, he sat for a chunk of the third period. And then, like you say, power play time came. All right, get out there and try and get us going here with some power play time. And it didn't work. There would be no one who would be looking and saying, what is Huska doing? What's this coach doing? I mean, it was the right move to make. And I think a lot of people are giving him credit. People might be surprised it happened, but no one will be sitting here saying, I can't believe that you benched that player with how well he's been playing. It's been coming. And I agree with you. I think it's nice that he's going to a small little place like Toronto for his next game, where there will be no reporters to ask him all of these questions.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, Boomer. Like the other day, I was at the Dallas game, and they were trying to score 6-on-5. He wasn't one of the guys. Mm-hmm. Like I think that was a storyline. Like this has been building too.
Yeah.
Like Huska didn't go from 0 to 100 on this. The players' play has been building along where the trust has eroded, or like I say, the story for me, and I think it was, quote me if it was the Dallas game, I think, before the Seattle game, where they're trying to catch up and they pulled their goalie at the end of the game. Huberdeau wasn't on the ice.
Yeah.
So in that particular situation, Ryan Huska goes, I'm trying to tie this game. I want my 6 most effective players on the ice. Huberdeau wasn't one of them. So this was a thing that was building.
And so that's why I think a couple things. I think Huska's doing a damn fine job. I think it's the right move. I think generally it shouldn't be as frowned upon from us pundits as it is, right? Like it is really jumped on and we feed on it and gives us stuff to talk about. But in Huberdeau's situation, I'm not seeing anything to build off of.
Right.
I'm really not. And a benching might be a catalyst for it, but like you said, it's not really the first indication that he's going to get sat or needs to be sat or had a situation where he should have judged himself and tried to do better. And my point, I guess, is I think there's the not being out there trying to score that goal against Dallas was a big thing. I think he's missed other ice time. Now he's missed the third. And I'm still not seeing earlier in the game last night situations where he's making plays and finding a groove, right? Like you see teams that aren't doing well, but they're kind of doing the right stuff, and all of a sudden it turns and they start to win again.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that in Jonathan Huberdeau. I'm not seeing situations where he's making great plays or handling the puck or looking like a guy with any confidence at all. That is my concern for this individual player, is that I like everything that's going on as Al Huska and is managing it and stuff like that. I think it's fine, but I'm not seeing Huberdeau respond, and I'm not seeing anything to build off of. And that's why I go back to take a day off, get the out of town, go to Banff, go ski. I don't know what, but something's got to change to get this guy turned around.
Well, maybe this is rock bottom for him as far as what you need to do. But you're right. Like, if there's a guy who's struggling to get points, if you're a point producer, if you're a goal scorer, sometimes you're all around. It's like, God, that guy had 12 shot attempts and he's hitting posts, he's missing nets. I cover the Sens a lot. Last year, I watched that Alex DeBrincat to start the season. I think he had 1 goal in his first 7. But man, he's missing nets. He's hitting posts. He was around it, but it didn't go for him. You're right. I don't see Huberdeau where he's that threatening guy and he's putting a guy on a tee on the back door and the guy whiffs it. Like he's not the guy. Like, if there's a step ladder to build out of this, like, he's got to hit that first rung yet, where he's not, like, because he's not there yet. He's not, dangerous or threatening. And you're like, okay, it's coming. Like, sometimes, a lot of times you see teams and players before they hit rock bottom, or even when they hit bottom, you could see signs of them coming out of it. It's like, okay, it's a matter of time, and this guy is going to get going. He's not there yet. And maybe he just needs one night where it's like a goal and 2 assists and feels good about himself and goes, now I'm starting to come out of it. You need something to jar the momentum positively, because really it's been some negative stuff. And right now, you're right. The next couple of days are going to be very noisy for him. It's going to be noisy for his family. Like, all of the things that we don't take into account that goes with a pro athlete's life. And it sucks for him. But again, nobody, in the real world's feeling bad, because he's still cashing a check on the 15th. That's a large check. So he's earned that big check, but he also has to go out and earn it daily.
Yeah, you hear that all the time. I was like, if both of you guys played with Jerome, and Jerome would have those slow starts to the year. He's getting chances and he's getting shots on goal and he's going to break through. And of course, inevitably he would. But even going back to Rhett's point, we can move on here at some point, because it's, at some point, dead horse. But to have that game where he comes out and has a goal and 2 assists and looks close to him, he's been here all of last year and now into this year. I don't remember any night where that's been the case. I don't know. Rhett, you've kind of said that you just don't think it's going to work here.
I don't. And I don't think it's going to work here. I think he's got to move if he wants to refine it. But and
I don't know how that happens.
And the Lindholm Huberdeau, like, people criticized Darryl last year for not giving that a longer runway, but there's nothing.
Sometimes it just doesn't work, right? Sometimes the chemistry is not there. Sometimes it's like, I thought last year, watching Huberdeau, I thought he really struggled coming from the east to the west. The west is more physical. The east you want to go over the blue line, you want to circle up, you make a play, and kind of dust the snow off the puck, and it's a backhand saucer here. And in the west, there's a lot more north-south and really some crash and bang involved in it. And I know the game's changed, but he looked uncomfortable in his skin last year. And then it was easy to go, yeah, the big bad wolf, he caused all this, and now he's not there. It's a new, fresh lease on life to come in. And to me, still, there's some habits there that got to come out of his game. And it's, people have to adjust to as they age. And it's not like he's 35, but he's not 21 anymore. So you have to adjust to the pace of the game. You have to adjust to what's given to you, as far as defensive strategies. If I'm playing against Jonathan, Rhett, you're a defenseman. What do you do against Jonathan Huberdeau when he comes through the neutral zone and wants to come over the blue line?
Take away his space.
Exactly. Time and space. You close on him, little physical. Knowing it's a can opener with a punch in the face. You can't get away with that anymore. But, it's that's the type of stuff where it's like, there's a book out on everybody. So change your book, change the narrative, because if you're a creative guy, it's like, okay, fake that. Go down the wall, make a little play, jump to space. Like, easier said than done. believe me, I did a lot of analysis sitting on the bench, but this is what I'm sitting there watching, watching him play, going, he has to change his game and morph it. And really good players, smart players, which he is, he's got to find what is going to work for him to make him effective for the Calgary Flames, for Jonathan Huberdeau in the Western Conference. And he hasn't found that yet. And you know what? That's on him. I think the coaching staff has to find a role for him and go, we need you to do this. You do this really well, and this is going to happen. So it's still early in the season, new coach, new all of that. But, it's kind of the same old record, because now we're looking at it, and we're 90 games into his Flames career, give or take a game.
I think this is the last one, and then we'll move on. Huska does the benching last night. What's next? If you need to send a message, you can't healthy scratch him, can you? I mean, do you sit him for a period again? Because that's what I think now. Okay, everyone's on board with the benching. He had no shots on net in 14 minutes, 14:24 of ice. Yeah, you got to sit down. What's the next course of action for Huska?
Can I jump in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
Because I think it matters. What we're not privy to is his attitude in the room, and his attitude with the guys. And I think that is imperative to that question.
Yeah. Like, where are you at? Where's his psyche at? Obviously, he didn't wear it very well on the bench last night. It was raw emotion. But I tend to think the other way. A benching and kind of a public flogging, we'll call it. I think you roll him out 20 minutes on Friday against the Leafs.
Start him.
And go, exactly. You're starting. And you have a meeting today on the plane or tomorrow, whenever they're flying in, and you say to them, listen, it's much as made about this. You're still one of my guys. I care about you. I want you to be a big part of this. You are a big part of this. If we are going to be a playoff team, this is what I need from you. Let's go over some shifts. Let's dig in. What are you seeing? How are you feeling out there? Like, nowadays, this isn't just a dictatorship from the coach to the player. This is a partnership going, where are you at? How can I help you be better? But this is what I'm seeing. And it was the final straw. Let's start over here and let's go back at it. Like, and the worst thing, sorry, Rhett, but the worst thing that I'm hoping I don't see today is the agent and a bunch of nonsense coming out today going, this and that. Just go play. It happens to everybody. I don't think anybody is ready to kick the guy in the nuts. What I'd like to see him do is respond. And I think the coach wants him to respond. So, Boomer, your question, he plays 20 minutes against the Leafs unless he's not good enough to put him on the ice. That's the way I'd feel.
Or if his attitude is shit.
Exactly.
That was what I was getting at. If he's willing to work with you and you call him in and you still got a good relationship there and he's not going, F you sat me, then you work with them and you play the piss out of them.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.